This is my birth camp. But I was visiting the goat farm first. This goat farm is the total number of males it has. You were born farming. You make different kinds of models. The couple was born. Labor export in Taiwan. 8 years later, I came back last year. Let's start by raising goats first. Raise a goat first, and then raise more chickens. The land here is quite large. A month ago, I went to a company. You guys have a couple of cages. You 3 barns. This beautiful goat is Libo, this pure goat. There are new Kier babies born. I was born a few days ago. What is the current price of a goat? You have a time when it's 50. I remember a few years ago. This baby was born here. This one's a little weak, Cho. Give it your freedom. Oh yeah, it's a little weak. Is this beautiful? The idea is to give birth to not enough children for him. You or SAO, or whether it is weak to its own. Take care of yourself. I see it as weak. It's for drinking human milk. Follow me now, guys. Beautiful. How many days old? This is a week, almost a week. How many children is your call center 20 now? Of them. This one. When goats are cheap, keep the bullets. It's done. Breeding up gradually, because it's normal for it to go down somehow. Because I made this cage, I adjusted it. This shit I see on the side. There's a goat farm in Gia Lai. A conveyor belt. That's right. This one is like. The puppy reminded him to wrap this person around. It keeps coming close to you. This girl is pregnant with you. 9 children have given birth to 6 children, and 3 children 2 generations a year. This one has given birth. Before I was a cowboy, I wanted to raise goats. And raising goats back, then I had hip engineering. Waiting for a brother in Japan to return to work. The epidemic. You haven't returned yet. Back. If you raise a goat, it must have grass. Goats are right. Cultivate according to your industrial style. Is not really as feeding it just needs to be actively being grown as a rug green food source. I feel like I'm growing it. Some people are just going to cut the leaves and cut the hard stuff. It's hard not to do anything. Yes, I can't go anywhere if I just take care of the goat. Thanks to this machine. Just follow me. Yeah. What kind of chicken are you raising? Let go of this chicken garden. It's okay. This one is. Not much to sell, but it is just came out. It just came out because I felt a little bit. Chicken stocking garden. The countryside you do. There are enough models, and now there are 3 models. Break it again. This area has to be about 15 barns. Do pull here my car. But this is where you run. Well, if this car doesn't stay here, if you work here, you have to be 15 minus 20 barns. This place is for work. Well, of course. I mean, except for the way. I have a big yard here, guys. In front of the house. This one has to be about 15 to 20 cages. Barn type 3 square meters. The roof is beautiful, and the roof is not hot. There's only this front. Then pull the canvas. Let it get tired. I also advise many households to raise this type before. It's good. Well, it feeds it. It works because it's open. But in winter, they're kind of. If I raise it like this, it will be. Keep the wind in it. Because on a December night, it's still a bit cold. Love is. Of course, love looks beautiful. When it comes to the hot season, it is hot. I don't have. If you can pull it in, it's here. Just finish this pack. Let's finish growing those shads. Then go over there. These are my cages. 2 kids. In this case, we are testing 2 cages. That's a 7-tray cage. An 8-tray cage. The crickets are extremely thick and evenly. This is 2 days old. From bloom to day. From today, it says this is 3 or 4 days. 2 April. 2 or 4 days are very heavy, Dad. In general, it's all the same. Really eat well. You have to feed at the beginning of this phase. It eats a lot of leaves that the morning is noon. I just sprayed it at night. The rest of me feed the leaves without bran. Just give it up and give it up. What kind of bran do you feed? Thank God this is it. It's only 19 degrees. 19, but I mean, also, you've got to feed it. At this stage, it can't grow without bran. He just left and ate like this. Let's see if it goes down at the bottom. This fish seems to be of the same quality as this fish. Let it be deep to stay at home. And these troughs too, you cut it big. It's too small. This little thing, it's so big. I've just had my manger replaced. You can also find some troughs. One thing you should note is that at this age, they eat. It's very strong. We have to replenish it. Yes, that's what this trough is. It's got to make it a little bigger to feed it. It doesn't fall. That's down to the bottom of the cage. I have to check the bottom of things because if I just finished eating, I turned around and saw it all. Sometimes it goes to the bottom. It's not that he ate it all. Check. I don't need to clean it. It's about clean once every 30 days. This is a very hungry cricket. If you don't just poured its bran on it, you don't know. You keep feeding like this, and it's time for the cricket to get this whistle. There's no food. The crickets are running fences. You will also hear the sound of the camera. The fence shows that the cricket is hungry. Then you have to add more food for it. This kind of feeding doesn't work. If you eat like this, a few days from now, it's very small. That's right. Without food, it will crawl for food. And it's in there. When you were born, you said that the cricket is crawl out. You have the first is you take this off. Take this off. This one is not so much, but here's the wall. If you make me shoot these silicones, I have to buy a wallpaper. Building materials, sell the base glue. That's it. Put the paste from here on these gloves. Put a glove from here up there to give it. It's slippery. This part of it doesn't stick It's here. Mostly clinging to things. Just let it climb up here like this. Paste all for corners. Is that it can never climb. It's healthy. There is a severe lack of food. You have to feed. I'll show you my camp in Kuyabu. Give me food. The food at this stage is extremely important. That means it's the growing stage. I don't have enough food for it. Then it will be stopped. And by the time it takes off its wings, there's no use feeding it. And at that time, the cricket will be very small. Then with you, very small first is to buy at a very low price. If that 3 times in a row, I won't collect because anymore. You will give priority to the household. It's more quality to make dried crickets. And the crickets that it is. If it's bad, it can't be dried. There is a cave in the forest. This type of paper farming, but that's done of feeding things it doesn't have enough. A 25 kilograms cage that feeds all. Not even a handful more. A barn means a lot of food. Mainly feeding. This much leaves this mostly fish. He was hungry for food. It's a bad whistle. The cricket tree is extremely thick. How many meters is this barn roof? 2 meters. The horizontal 2 meters is 1 meter. 2 meters, right? 2 feet thick like this. I have enough food to hold my head. It should be about 22 pounds. This cricket is 21 days old. If you are 2 days old, this size is already until about 30 days old. I have to pay attention. Give more time. Some of the problems you mentioned, water without spraying because it's going to replenish water through this vegetable. If you give a lot of vegetables, it will be replenished. And if you spray water a lot, he drank a lot until it was time. And under the wing, it's underwater. It falls off. At that stage, there are camps. Go cricket from this stage to the level of milk cricket. It's extremely beautiful. It's as beautiful as the stick. But on the wings is falling. At the bottom you see, it's full, and I have to pay attention. That in turn is, this food is. I'll check the bottom of the cage. Let's see if it falls down there. If I fall, I have to replace this gutter. This trough is too small. This trough it eats, it pedals. I can see it with the naked eye. It's like that place over there. This place. Here, 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 here. These edges are like this. If it eats, I have to be careful because later there are only 1 or 2 barns. I made 15 minus 20 barns. Each cage it pedals a little bit. After we harvest, when the time comes, it's a pile. Money, not less. A cage it just needs to pedal for a day. These 2 handfuls are 15 cages. You know how big it is to make 10 days. Should be. These things are related to the profit problem. I have to pay attention. 2 sacks of bran. In fact, the stronger it eats, the better. The stronger you eat, the stronger it'll gain weight as long as it takes. Oh, very fast. In general, we don't worry about raising bran if you can keep your head good. To that stage on the wings, the more it costs, the better it proves. It's very heavy. It will be very heavy. The worst part is that he won't eat. It has no troops to eat. That's it. If it eats hard, just feed it, because I have calculated it. If it's a pound of crickets, it'll eat about a pound of bran and vegetables. Make it comfortable. Is that it eats that much, but it doesn't eat that much. So for example, this is a cage that it eats about a bag of bran. It's only about 15 pounds. It's 15 to 17 pounds, but then it's going to be about 5 pounds. According to the one, it's proportional to the amount of food we feed it. It eats hard at this stage. The more I eat, the more I like this, the more I like it. From a young age, you care. It's pretty good to keep your head. Take a note of the A's. This technique allows me to gain experience from this stage up. Write down what you just mentioned about the amount of green food is every morning and every afternoon. Feed is finished, and in the afternoon, feed it in the evening. Replenish it all. It's a very powerful water for it. He's got to have greens for him to eat at night. It's green. It eats so much. And when I turn off the water, the dry crickets are later the stage. It's up a little. 33 by 5 days old. It peels off quickly because its crickets are dry. It peels a lot. This one, it has to be peeled 2 more times. 2 more times. This one's not on the cricket. This cricket, it's only been peeled 2 times. 2 more times. You'll notice that. Millet. Those are some of the things I want to keep in mind for farmers who have no experience. Well, this room is a mess. Here, this door is open. This room is kind of a 4th grade building. Close all the doors. This is why it's hot in the afternoon. You have to. And at night. Let's do the SAO to open the A. Let it vent. Let's make it stew. In a few days, it will be stewed. I think it is better to raise on the other side of the house. Well, if you feed it, and that's what you do. This Alu cage is also I'll share with you a little bit. The first problem is fighting this day. When I was born, I had a message for myself about the barn. It could be a scan. I forgot to remind you about the scan. The first one is around this cage. Around the base of this cage is the day before you were born. You don't have to do that. He's been out a lot. That's what you do. You should also note that it is sealed. All the cracks. It's in the barn on the outside. Plastered really carefully into not subjective. Cow crickets, the roads. We sell silicon. Then we buy a concrete foundation glue. It's got a kind of glue, like adhesive it's very tape. Strong. Then buy that and paste It's also roll. Cheap, so it's easy to crawl. There's a lot on the wall. Black and black. Here's the cricket, guys. Cats are like spiders. It's like that for Alu. I am so glad that I was able to put it on. It's the same kind of background as you guys for food, drinking, especially water. Later when you put the egg tray. It's very convenient. It doesn't have a cricket channel. It's very easy to climb and give it a drink. It is also very beautiful. By the way, it's not sloping. It's kind of like my potty camp. I did that the other day at the camp. Because it's made of iron, the plastic tarpaulin at the bottom is made of a net. So it is. If the tube is about 2 meters long, it will be broken. Access its water channel. I was there the other day, and my camp just collapsed. Dead crickets are a lot of cages. Extremely hungry, guys, always ran like to feed doesn't work. I have to adjust the big gutter this afternoon. Once I poured a lot of this bran. It's a big gutter. Used it about 25 degrees. 30 cho ra came here to I can spread it about half a pound. That's a little small. This is too small. It's a little small, but this is about 12 inches. This chute is too small. Adjust it now. Make the trough about to 5. That's about to 5. Then the feeding trough we have to adjust a big stage of cricket. Always use. That's where the grass is, guys. There is a lot of land in a place like this. There's a lot of land. When you plant grass, you look at this grass and fed the goats. So now it is very convenient to grow crickets because there is a source of this grass. I also just planted it in here. What's the name of this grass? Corn grass. You look like corn. It's soft. It's soft, this one.